Picture this. You wake up every morning feeling like you're running on a hamster wheel. You're busy all day, but nothing important actually gets done. Your relationships feel shallow. Your goals, they're still stuck in your head gathering dust. Now imagine a different life. You wake up with purpose. You know exactly what matters. People respect you. You achieve your goals one by one. You feel in control. What's the difference between these two versions of you? 7 habits. Just 7 simple habits. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most life-changing books ever written, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This book has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. Why? Because it works. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand this book in depth, but also learn how to apply it in your life starting today. We're not just doing a summary here. We're giving you a complete roadmap to transform yourself from the inside out. So grab a notebook, because what you're about to learn will change everything. Let's begin. Part 1. Big Idea Overview. Here's the big idea behind this book. Most people try to fix their problems from the outside. They want better relationships, so they learn communication tricks. They want success, so they copy what successful people do. They want happiness, so they chase money and status. But Stephen Covey says, that's backwards. Real change doesn't start from the outside. It starts from the inside. It starts with who you are, not what you do. Think of it like this. Imagine you're looking at a map, trying to find your way through a city. But what if the map is wrong? What if you're looking at a map of Paris, but you're actually in New York? No matter how good your navigation skills are, you'll never reach your destination. You need the right map first. The same is true for life. Most of us are using the wrong map. We're focused on quick fixes, shortcuts, and surface-level solutions. But Covey gives us the correct map, a map based on timeless principles. These 7 habits aren't just tips or tricks. They're fundamental principles that, when practiced consistently, transform you from dependent to independent to interdependent, from reactive to proactive, from scattered to focused. Let me give you a simple example. Think about a kid learning to ride a bike. At first, the kid is dependent. Someone has to hold the bike. Then the kid becomes independent, riding alone without help. But the real magic happens when that kid becomes interdependent, riding with friends, working together, achieving more together than alone. That's what these 7 habits do. They take you through that exact journey, from dependent to independent to interdependent. And the beautiful part? These habits work for everyone. Students, employees, business owners, parents, athletes, everyone. Because they're based on universal principles that never change. Now, let's dive into each habit, one by one. Part 2, chapter by chapter. Summary, core content. Habit 1. Be proactive. Let's start with the foundation. The first habit is, be proactive. What does this mean? Most people are reactive. Something happens to them, and they react. Someone insults them, they get angry. It rains, their day is ruined. They fail a test, they give up. Reactive people give away their power. They let circumstances control them. They say things like, I can't help it. That's just how I am. They made me do it. But proactive people, they're different. They realize that between what happens to them, the stimulus, and how they respond, the response, there's a gap, a space. And in that space lies their power to choose. Let me tell you a story. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He lost everything, his family, his freedom, his possessions. He was tortured, starved, humiliated. But he discovered something powerful. The Nazis could control his body, but they couldn't control his mind. They couldn't control his attitude. He could still choose how to respond. He decided to respond with dignity, hope, and purpose. And that choice saved his life. He later wrote a famous book called Man's Search for Meaning. That's the power of being proactive. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Here's how to be proactive in your daily life. Stop using reactive language. Instead of, I have to, say I choose to. Instead of he makes me so angry, say I control my emotions. Language shapes your mindset. Focus on your circle of influence. Imagine two circles. The outer circle is your circle of concern, all the things you worry about but can't control. Weather, politics, other people's opinions. The inner circle is your circle of influence, things you can control, your attitude, your effort, your choices. Reactive people focus on the circle of concern. They complain about things they can't change. Their circle of influence shrinks. Proactive people focus on their circle of influence. They take action on what they can change. And guess what? Their circle of influence grows. Actionable takeaway. For the next 30 days, catch yourself every time you use reactive language. Replace it with proactive language. Watch how your mindset shifts. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. Here's a question. Have you ever felt busy but not productive? Like you're climbing a ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall? That's what happens when you don't begin with the end in mind. Covey says, start with a clear vision of your destination. Know where you're going before you start running. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you're at your own funeral. Yes, I know that sounds dark, but stay with me. You're there, and 4 people are about to speak. A family member, a friend, a coworker. Someone from your community. What would you want them to say about you? What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? Kind, hardworking, loving, honest, successful? That's your end. That's your destination. Now here's the magic. Once you know your end, every decision you make today becomes clearer. Should you yell at your kids or be patient? Should you cheat on that test or study harder? Should you scroll social media for hours or work on your dreams? When you know your end, you know your answers. Covey introduces a powerful tool here, the personal mission statement. This is like a constitution for your life, a written statement of your values, your purpose, your vision. It becomes your standard for making decisions. Here's a simple example of a personal mission statement. I will be a person of integrity who treats everyone with respect. I will prioritize my family above work. I will continue learning and growing throughout my life. I will use my talents to serve others and make the world better. See how clear that is? When you have this written down, you have a compass. You know which direction to go. Actionable. Takeaway. This weekend, spend 2 to 3 hours alone. Turn off your phone. Ask yourself, what matters most to me? What do I stand for? What do I want my life to represent? Then write your personal mission statement. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Habit 3. Put first things first. The third habit is put first things first. Now that you know your destination, habit 2, and you're choosing your response, habit 1, it's time to manage your time and energy. But here's the problem. Most people are terrible at managing time. Why? Because they focus on urgent things instead of important things. Let me explain the time management matrix. Imagine a box divided into 4 sections. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Crises, deadlines, emergencies. You have to do these. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. Planning, prevention, relationship building, learning, exercise. These are the most important things, but they're easy to ignore because they're not urgent. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Interruptions, some emails, some calls. These feel urgent, but aren't actually important. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Time wasters, mindless scrolling, excessive TV, pure waste. Here's the secret. Highly effective people spend most of their time in Quadrant 2. They do the important things before they become urgent. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 people, John and Sarah. John never exercises. He says he's too busy. One day he has a heart attack. Now he must focus on his health. He's stuck in Quadrant 1, crisis mode. Sarah exercises 3 times a week. She plans her meals. She gets regular checkups. She's in quadrant 2, prevention mode. She never has the heart attack. Same amount of time. Completely different results. Here's another example. A student who studies a little bit every day is in quadrant 2. A student who crams the night before the exam is in quadrant 1. A parent who has weekly one-on-one time with their kids is in quadrant 2. A parent who only talks to their kids when there's a problem is in quadrant 1. See the pattern? Actionable takeaway. Every Sunday evening, make a list of your quadrant 2 activities for the week. Schedule them first, like appointments you can't miss, then fit everything else around them. Paradigm shift. The inside-out approach. Before we move to the next habit, let's pause and understand something crucial. The first 3 habits are all about you. They're called the private victory. You can't have a public victory, good relationships, teamwork, success with others, until you have a private victory, self-mastery, discipline, character. It's like trying to make a withdrawal from a bank account that has no deposit. It won't work. Think of it like building a house. Habits 1 through 3 are the foundation. Without a strong foundation, the house will collapse. Once you have the foundation, then you can build the rest. Now let's move to the next 3 habits, the public victory. Habit 4. Think win-win. The 4th habit is, think win-win. Most people think life is a competition. Either I win and you lose, or you win and I lose. It's a zero-sum game. But Covey says, that's a scarcity mentality. There's enough success for everyone. Win-win means I want to win and I want you to win. We can both succeed. We can both benefit. Let me tell you a story. 2 kids are fighting over an orange. They both want it. Their mom comes in and cuts the orange in half. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Later she finds out. One kid wanted the orange to make juice. The other kid wanted the peel to bake a cake. If she had asked why they each wanted the orange, both could have gotten 100% of what they needed. That's win-win thinking. Here are the 6 paradigms of human interaction. Win-win. Both of us benefit. Win-lose. I win, you lose. Competition. Lose. Win. I lose, you win. People-pleasing. Lose. Lose. We both lose. Spite. Win. I win. I don't care about you. Win-win or no deal. Either we both win or we don't make an agreement. Highly effective people think win-win or no deal. Here's an example from work. You're negotiating a salary. Win-lose thinking says, I'll demand the highest salary and give them nothing. That might work short-term, but they'll resent you. Win-win thinking says, I want fair compensation, and I want to provide massive value to the company. How can we both benefit? This builds trust. It creates long-term success. Here's an example from relationships. You and your partner want to spend Friday night differently. You want to watch a movie. They want to go to dinner. Win-lose. You force them to watch a movie. They're unhappy. Lose-win. You give in completely. You're unhappy. Win-win. You find a solution where both of you are happy. Maybe you watch a shorter movie and go out for dessert afterward. Or you do one this week and the other next week. Actionable takeaway. This week, in every negotiation or disagreement, ask yourself, how can we both win here? Look for the 3rd alternative, the creative solution where everybody benefits. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. The 5th habit is, seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is one of the most powerful habits, but also one of the hardest. Here's the problem. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. Imagine you're talking to a friend about a problem you're having. Halfway through your sentence, they interrupt. Oh, I had the same thing happen to me. Let me tell you what I did. They're not listening to you. They're waiting for their turn to talk. Or imagine you go to a doctor. Before you even describe your symptoms, he writes a prescription and hands it to you. You'd think he's crazy, right? How can he prescribe medicine without diagnosing the problem? But that's what we do in our relationships all the time. We prescribe before we diagnose. Covey teaches a skill called empathic listening. This means listening with the intent to understand, emotionally and intellectually. Not just hearing the words, but feeling what the other person feels. There are 4 levels of listening: ignoring, not listening at all, pretending, yeah, selective listening, hearing only parts, attentive listening, paying attention to words, empathic listening, listening with your heart. Most people stop at level 4. Highly effective people reach level 5. Here's a real example. Your teenage daughter comes home upset. She says, "I hate school. Everyone is so fake." Level 4 response, attentive. "Did something happen at school today?" Level 5 response, empathic. "You sound really hurt. It feels like people aren't being real with you, and that's frustrating." See the difference? The first tries to fix the problem. The second validates her feelings. And here's the magic. When people feel understood, they open up. They trust you. They're more willing to listen to you. That's why the habit is, seek first to understand, then to be understood. First, you listen. Then you speak. Actionable takeaway. For the next week, practice empathic listening with everyone you talk to. Repeat back what they said before you respond. Say things like, "So what you're saying is," or "It sounds like you feel." Watch how your relationships transform. Habit 6, synergize. The 6th habit is synergize. What does synergy mean? It means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In other words, 1 + 1 = 3 or more. When 2 people truly synergize, they create something better than either could create alone. Think about it. 2 horses pulling separately can each pull 8,000 pounds, but 2 horses pulling together can pull 24,000 pounds. That's synergy. Synergy happens when you combine win-win thinking, habit 4, with empathic listening, habit 5. When people trust each other and understand each other, they can create magic together. But here's the key. Synergy requires valuing differences. Most people feel threatened by differences. If someone thinks differently than me, I assume they're wrong. But Covey says, differences are strengths. When you see things differently than I do, you're not wrong. You're bringing a perspective I don't have. Let me give you an example. Imagine a team working on a project. One person is super creative, full of wild ideas. Another person is super analytical, cautious, and detail-oriented. If they clash, the project fails. The creative person thinks the analyst is boring. The analyst thinks the creative person is reckless. But if they synergize, magic happens. The creative person generates amazing ideas. The analyst refines those ideas and makes them practical. Together, they create something brilliant. Here's another example from nature. A flock of geese flying in a V formation can fly 71% farther than a single goose flying alone. Why? Because they work together. They take turns leading. They support each other. That's synergy. Actionable takeaway. This week, when you disagree with someone, instead of arguing, say, "That's interesting. Tell me more about why you see it that way." Look for the third alternative, the solution that's better than your idea or their idea. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. The 7th and final habit is sharpen the saw. Here's a story. Imagine a man sawing down a tree. He's been working for hours. He's exhausted. Sweat is dripping down his face. The saw is dull, barely cutting the wood. You walk up and say, "Hey, why don't you take a break and sharpen your saw?" It would go faster. He replies, "I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing." Sound familiar? That's how most people live. They're so busy sawing, working, hustling, grinding, that they never stop to sharpen the saw, to renew themselves. Covey says, you can't keep producing without taking time to renew your production capacity. Think of it this way. A car can't run forever without maintenance. Eventually, it breaks down. Same with you. You need to renew yourself in 4 dimensions. 1. Physical dimension, your body. Exercise, eat well, sleep enough, manage stress. If your body breaks down, nothing else matters. 2. Mental dimension, your mind. Read, learn, write, solve problems, create. If you stop learning, you stop growing. 3. Spiritual dimension, your core, your values, your peace. Meditate, pray, spend time in nature, connect with your purpose. This is your source of strength and guidance. 4. Social, emotional dimension, your relationships. Invest in people, serve others, practice empathy. Relationships give life meaning. You need to sharpen the saw in all 4 dimensions, not just 1 or 2. Here's an example. You work 12 hours a day. You're productive, right? Wrong. You're running your car without oil. Eventually, you'll burn out. Instead, work 8 hours, exercise for 1 hour, spend 1 hour learning, and spend 1 hour with loved ones. You'll accomplish more in those 8 hours because you're sharp. You're renewed. Another example. A student who studies 10 hours straight retains less than a student who studies for 50 minutes, takes a 10-minute break, studies for 50 minutes, takes a break, and so on. Why? Because the brain needs renewal. Actionable takeaway. Create a weekly renewal plan. Schedule time for physical activity, learning, reflection, and relationships. Protect this time like you protect important meetings. This isn't selfish, it's essential. Part 3. Action Steps, Life Application. Okay, we've covered all 7 habits. Now let's make this practical. Here are 10 specific action steps you can start applying today. Action Step 1. Take the 30-day proactive challenge for 30 days. Eliminate all reactive language from your vocabulary. No more I can't, I have to. If only, they made me. Replace with I choose to, I will, I can, I am responsible. Write your commitment on a piece of paper and put it somewhere visible. Action. Step 2. Write your personal mission statement block out 3 hours this weekend. Find a quiet place. Ask yourself, what are my deepest values? What do I want to be remembered for? What roles am I in? Parent, employee, friend, etc. And what kind of person do I want to be in each role? Write a 1-page mission statement. Refine it over the next few weeks, then read it every morning. Action. Step 3. Do your weekly quadrant. 2. Planning. Every Sunday evening, take 30 minutes. List your roles, personal, professional, family, etc. For each role, write 1 to 2 quadrant 2 goals for the week. Schedule them first. Examples. Personal. Exercise 3 times. Read for 30 minutes daily. Professional. Work on the important project, not just urgent emails. Family. Have a date night with spouse, one-on-one time with each kid. Action Step 4. Practice win-win in every interaction. This week, approach every negotiation or disagreement with this question. How can we both win? At work, how can I contribute more value while also growing my career? At home, how can we both get what we need from this situation? With friends, what works for both of us? Action Step 5. Master empathic listening. Choose one person this week, your spouse, your child, your co-worker, and commit to listening to them empathically. When they talk, don't interrupt. Don't give advice unless they ask. Just listen. Reflect back what you hear. It sounds like you're feeling. Watch how the relationship deepens. Action Step 6. Start an emotional bank account. Think of your relationships like bank accounts. Every positive interaction is a deposit. Every negative interaction is a withdrawal. Make a list of the 5 most important people in your life. For each person, write down 3 ways you can make deposits this week. Give them your full attention, keep promises, show kindness, apologize when you're wrong, clarify expectations. Action. Step 7. Seek the 3rd alternative. Next time you're in a disagreement, resist the urge to fight or cave. Instead, say, I respect your view, and I have a different one. Let's find a solution that's better than both of our ideas. Brainstorm together. Be creative. You'll be amazed at what you discover. Action Step 8. Create your renewal ritual design, a daily ritual that sharpens all 4 dimensions of your saw. Morning example: 20 minutes, exercise, physical; 10 minutes, read or learn something new; mental, 10 minutes; meditate or journal, spiritual, 5 minutes; text someone you love, social, emotional. That's only 45 minutes, but it transforms your entire day. Action. Step 9. Track your progress. Get a journal or notebook. Each evening, answer these questions. Was I proactive today or reactive? Did I focus on quadrant 2 activities? Did I seek win-win solutions? Did I listen empathically? Did I renew myself in all 4 dimensions? Track your progress. Celebrate your wins. Learn from your setbacks. Action Step 10. Teach these habits to someone else. The best way to learn is to teach. Share these 7 habits with a friend, your kids, or your team. When you teach it, it solidifies in your mind. Plus, you're helping someone else transform their life. Part 4. Unique Insights. Now let me share some hidden gems from this book that most people miss. Insight number 1. Principles versus values. Covey makes a crucial distinction. Values are subjective, what you believe is important. Principles are objective, universal laws that work for everyone. For example, someone might value money above relationships. But the principle of human connection is universal. You can't violate principles without consequences. The 7 habits are based on principles, not just values. That's why they work for everyone, everywhere. Insight number 2. The character ethic versus the personality ethic. For most of the 1900s, success literature focused on character, integrity, humility, courage, justice. But after World War I, the focus shifted to personality, charisma, positive thinking, influence techniques. Covey says, personality techniques are important, but without character as the foundation, they're manipulation. You can't fake character, it has to be real. Insight number 3. The maturity continuum. The 7 habits follow a progression. Habits 1 to 3. Dependence, independence, private victory. Habits 4 to 6. Independence, interdependence, public victory. Habit 7. Renewal, maintaining effectiveness. Most self-help focuses on independence. Be your own person. Don't need anyone. But Covey says, independence is just a middle step. The ultimate goal is interdependence, working together in mutually beneficial ways. The most successful people aren't lone wolves. They're team players who've mastered themselves first. Insight number 4. The abundance mentality. Most people have a scarcity mentality. There's only one pie. If you get a big slice, I get a small slice. This creates jealousy, competition, and hoarding. Highly effective people have an abundance mentality. There's plenty for everyone. Your success doesn't threaten mine. In fact, it might even help me. This creates generosity, collaboration, and celebration of others. This mindset shift alone can transform your life. Insight number 5. The importance of private victories. Here's something most people skip. You can't skip habits 1 to 3 and jump to habits 4 to 6. You can't have healthy relationships if you don't have self-discipline. You can't think win-win if you're reactive and insecure. You can't listen empathically if you don't know your own values. The private victory comes first, always. This is why quick-fix relationship advice often fails. The problem isn't your communication technique, it's your character. Insight number 6. The emotional bank account. This concept is gold. Every relationship has an emotional bank account. Deposits, keeping promises, showing kindness, listening, being loyal, apologizing, withdrawals, breaking promises, being unkind, not listening, betraying trust, being prideful. If your account is high, the relationship is strong. Small mistakes are forgiven. If your account is low, the relationship is fragile. Small mistakes become big problems. Actionable takeaway for this section. Identify your weakest dimension: physical, mental, spiritual, or social, emotional. This week, make it your focus. If you're weak physically, commit to exercise. If you're weak spiritually, commit to meditation. Balance is key. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're working really hard, but not getting anywhere? Like you're busy all the time, but nothing meaningful is happening? I've been there. Most people have. And here's what I learned from this book. It's not about working harder. It's about working on the right things. Imagine if you applied just one of these habits. Just one. What if you became truly proactive? What if you stopped blaming and started taking responsibility? What if you wrote a personal mission statement and started living by it? What if you focused on Quadrant 2 activities, the important but not urgent things, instead of constantly putting out fires? Your life would change, dramatically. Now imagine applying all 7 habits. Think about it. You wake up with purpose. You know your values. You make proactive choices. You focus on what matters. You build trust in your relationships. You create win-win solutions. You listen with empathy. You work with others to create something amazing, and you continually renew yourself so you never burn out. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you live these habits. But here's the truth. Knowing these habits isn't enough. You have to do them. You have to practice them. Daily, consistently. It won't be perfect. You'll mess up. You'll have reactive days. You'll fall back into old patterns. That's okay. Progress, not perfection. The question is, are you willing to commit? Are you willing to do the work? Because these habits will change your life, but only if you apply them. Part 5. Conclusion. So here we are. We've journeyed through all 7 habits. Let me recap them one more time. Habit 1. Be proactive. Take responsibility. Stop blaming. Choose your response. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Know your destination. Live by your values. Create your mission statement. Habit 3. Put first things first. Focus on what's important, not just what's urgent. Live in Quadrant 2. Habit 4. Think win-win. Seek solutions where everyone benefits. Reject scarcity thinking. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen empathically. Diagnose before you prescribe. Habit 6. Synergize. Value differences. Create something better together than you could alone. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Renew yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially. You can't produce without maintaining your production capacity. These aren't just habits. They're a philosophy, a way of life. And the beautiful thing? You don't have to be perfect at all 7 to see results. Start with 1. Master it. Then move to the next. Small, consistent improvements lead to massive transformation. Think about who you'll be 1 year from now if you apply these habits. Think about your relationships, your career, your health, your peace of mind. Everything improves when you improve. You now have the tools, the knowledge, the roadmap. Now you don't just know the summary, you have the tools to change your life. But knowledge without action is useless. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one habit, just one. Commit to practicing it for the next 30 days. Go all in. Track your progress. Notice the changes. Then come back and tell us about it. Leave a comment below. Which lesson from this book are you going to apply first? And if this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Rise and Read for more deep book summaries. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Remember, you are capable of extraordinary things. You have everything you need inside you right now. These 7 habits will unlock it. Now go out there and become the highly effective person you were meant to be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rising, keep reading, keep growing.